This is Rad Flicks, 1994. My name is Joe. These are just opinions. I am Joepinionated. Rad Flick is a movie that has stood the test of time. Forget about all that hogwash you heard from the critics and the big award shows back in 1994. We have time on our side, and these movies are certified rad by a panel of normal people who watched an average amount of movies. Categories are comedy, action, sci-fi, adventure, drama, horror, suspense, family movie night, most watched, and raddest movie overall. For 1994, the Academy Awards went to Forrest Gump for Best Picture, Robert Zemeckis Best Director of Forrest Gump, Best Actor Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, Best Actress Jessica Lange, Forrest Gump. Over my shoulder here, one of the greatest soundtracks for movies ever. Pulp Fiction as well. Over my shoulder, another 94 movie. Incredible soundtrack. One of my favorite albums of all time, Chocolate and Cheese by Ween, 1994. Famous people passed away in 94. The two that come to mind first and foremost would be Kurt Cobain and also John Candy. Chocolate and Cheese is actually dedicated to John Candy. Basically broke John Hughes as well, was the death of John Candy. Icon, legend, apparently just the greatest guy. Jackie Candy Onassis, Richard Nixon, Raul Julia from Addams Family passed away in 94. Nicole Brown Simpson passed away in 1994. Jazz musician Cab Calloway. Jack Kirby, legendary comic book artist Jack Kirby. Burt Lancaster. Harry Nilsson, one of my favorite musicians, episode Harry Nilsson on his channel. Bill Hicks. First category is Raddest Horror of 1994. The first movie up is Wes Cravens New Nightmare, directed by Wes Craven. This guy is a legend. Freddy coming out of the movies and into reality. Next finalist for Raddest Horror Suspense, 94. It goes to Frankenstein, directed by Kenneth Branagh. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, starring Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh. I don't think I ever saw this one. Up next, another one from John Carpenter, In the Mouth of Madness. This one stars Sam Neill and Julie Carmen. I don't remember this one either. So there you go. Two in the same category. I don't think I've seen them. The final finalist for 1994 horror suspense goes to Wolf, directed by Mike Nichols, starring Michelle Pfeiffer and Jack Nicholson. So Catwoman and the Joker. It's funny because I own this movie, and it was actually one of the first movies that I ever bought used from the video store. And that's how I ended up basically buying movies going forward, is I'd buy used ones from the rental store. I was never too crazy about it, to be honest with you. Kind of a bad buy, but I think it was just cheap. 94 is when I started thinking that I knew something about movies. This is where my VHS collection really got going, was 1994. Raddest Horror Suspense for 1994 goes to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So similar to Wes to put his name in the title. Runner-up is In the Mouth of Madness from John Carpenter. Next category for Radflicks 1994 is comedy, and boy oh boy are there some doozies this year. 1994 is such an awesome year for movies. Such an awesome year for Rad Flicks. I just returned from a trip. It's located in Leonardo, New Jersey. Leonardo, like the Ninja Turtle, New Jersey. Went out of my way to make sure we went there, and it was fantastic. Great spot. Coastline of New Jersey. It's really cool. So Raddest comedy. The finalists are Clerks, over my shoulder here. Director Kevin Smith, starring Jeff Anderson, Brian O'Halloran, Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob. I just love Kevin Smith movies, and this is the first one, the one that got it off the ground. 1994's Clerks. Jay and Silent Bob. All the characters in this movie are incredible. It's so realistic. 37 in a row, and I love how that guy starts to follow her. And shout out to Leonardo, New Jersey for being killer. Next nominee for Raddest comedy goes to Ace Ventura Pet Detective, starring Courtney Cox and Jim Carrey. Directed by Tom Shattuck. Alrighty then. Einhorn, Finkel. Everybody knew Jim Carrey from In Living Color, Fire Marshal Bill. Check out the Jim Carrey episode on this channel. Ace Ventura, one of the best comedies ever. He has 3 movies this year that are all over Radflicks. First one being Ace Ventura Pet Detective. The second one being directed by the Farrelly brothers. The movie is Dumb and Dumber, co-starring Jeff Daniels and Cam Neely from the Boston Bruins. Probably the funniest movie I ever saw in the theater is either this one or Happy Gilmore. Maybe Team America World Police. I saw it on Boxing Day. Just couldn't believe how many people were in stitches from the start of the movie to the end of the movie. Harry and Lloyd. Lloyd Christmas. Swimmy, Swammy, Slippy, Slappy, Swanson, Dumb and Dumber, and Ace Ventura in the same year from Jim Carrey. Next up, the story of Stanley Ipkiss, directed by Chuck Russell, co-starring Cameron Diaz and Jim Carrey. The Mask. 3 blockbusters in his first major year of starring roles. Now I got crap. Check out my Jim Carrey episode on the channel. Spoiler alert though, The Mask did not make top 10 Jim Carrey roles for me. It's kind of a kids movie and Jim Carrey's got a lot of great roles. The Mask also finalist for Raddest Comedy of 1994. Till I'm getting old is like I know I saw this movie a few times and it had Ricky Lake in it. Serial Mom. I can't remember what it was about. The mom was a serial killer, I guess. Kathleen Turner, Sam Waterston, directed by John Waters. Serial Mom follows a seemingly perfect suburban housewife, Beverly Saltfin, who harbors a dark secret. She's a serial killer. Okay. And last, but certainly not least, for finalists, goes to Ed Wood. Starring Johnny Depp, Martin Landau, Bill Murray, Sarah Jessica Parker. Check out my episode on Tim Burton. We love Tim Burton around here. I love Ed Wood. It's about the world's worst director based on a true story. Winner Raddest Comedy 1994 goes to Dumb and Dumber from the Farrelly brothers, Jeff Daniels, Jim Carrey. You sold a dead bird to a blind kid? So you're telling me there's a chance. One of the finest movies ever made. The Raddest Comedy of 1994, Dumb and Dumber. Runner up Ace Ventura Pet Detective, also from Jim Carrey. Third place is Clerks, which would finish first in many other years. Incredible year for movies, 1994. Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and Clerks, all in the same year. Right, next up for Rad Flicks, we have action, sci-fi, adventure. Finalists are True Lies. True Lies starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Arnold, Jamie Lee Curtis. Whoa, whoa, wee, wah. Directed by James Cameron. Incredible action movie, start to finish. Next up, Tragic Story was when the movie The Crow was released, starring Brandon Lee, who tragically passed away on said accident during the making of the movie The Crow. I remember watching this one quite a bit. Ernie Hudson, co-starring Ernie Hudson. Eric Draven was the name of the character, returns from the dead to avenge his and his fiance's murders. Next finalist goes to Speed. In 1994, almost everybody got it for Christmas. And I remember watching Speed after getting back from Dumb and Dumber at the theater. Later on that evening, we watched Speed on VHS at home. Speed starring Sandra Bullock, Keanu Reeves, and Dennis Hopper. Jan de Bont directed this action, gripping suspense. There's a bomb on a bus. The bus can't drop below 50 miles an hour. Next up for action, adventure, sci-fi, Pulp Fiction from 1994, Quentin Tarantino directed, action, sci-fi. There's a bit of action. There's no sci-fi. Adventure, I don't know. There's lots of blood for sure. This one will come up in other categories, I'm positive. One of the greatest soundtracks of all time, starring John Travolta, Uma Thurman, Samuel L. Jackson, Bruce Willis, Harvey Keitel, Quentin Tarantino, Ving Rhames. Next for action, sci-fi, adventure nominee, Interview with a Vampire from Neil Jordan, starring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, based on the Anne Rice novel Interview with the Vampire / Axel. They did Interview with the Vampire soundtrack. They did Sympathy for the Devil. They covered Rolling Stones. Next up, Natural Born Killers from Oliver Stone. Quentin Tarantino originally wrote. You can see Natural Born Killers over top of me. This is when I was about 20, I think. This is my movie collection, Natural Born Killers. That was honestly one of my favorite Oliver Stone movies, and that's not very popular. Woody Harrelson, Juliette Lewis, Mickey and Mallory. Next finalist, right here, Stargate, directed by Roland Emmerich, Kurt Russell, and James Spader. The scientists find a portal to another constellation and go through the wormhole to this other place where there's people living around pyramids. Excellent science fiction movie, Stargate. Just love this movie. And the winner for Raddest Action Sci-Fi Adventure of 1994 goes to Pop Quiz Airport, Gunman with One Hostage. It goes to Speed, Pop Quiz, Jeff Daniels, Dennis Hopper, Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock. The link in the description to all the trailers mentioned in this episode, my Discord, Patreon, runner-up Stargate, and Pulp Fiction. Next category, family movie night. Before we do the family movie, I just want to mention this movie here, Baraka. Now, it's the first documentary I remember seeing that did what Planet Earth did well many, many years later. Amazing documentary, Baraka. Family movie night, there's 9 finalists. First one being The Mask, starring Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz. Directed by Chuck Russell. We talked about that one already. Cuban Pete. When I shake the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chicky boom. Next up, Raddest Family Movie Night 1994 finalist goes to The Little Rascals, based off the original Little Rascals TV show, directed by Penelope Shiris. Bunch of kids, alfalfa, buckwheat, great kid show. I love The Little Rascals. Watched it quite a bit with my Little Rascals. Next, Disney's Lion King, James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, I think. Scar, the story of Simba and how he comes to be the Lion King. Incredible soundtrack, Elton John all over that. Next up, The Flintstones, starring Rick Moranis and John Goodman, directed by Brian Levant, based on the old cartoon The Flintstones. Before The Simpsons, The Flintstones was on as much as The Simpsons is now. Rosie O'Donnell was in that one too. Next up, starring Rick Moranis again, and this time with co-starring with Ed O'Neill. So he's really going after the titans of sitcoms here with John Goodman from Roseanne, Ed O'Neill from Married with Children. The movie is Little Giants. Next movie is directed by John G. Alvidson, 8 Seconds, starring Luke Perry and Stephen Baldwin. I remember watching that movie once. Yeah, it was about a bull rider. Don't remember the storyline at all. I remember thinking it was a good movie. Next up, Camp Nowhere. I've watched this one not that long ago. Christopher Lloyd, directed by Jonathan Prince, co-starring Jonathan Jackson. It's about these kids that create their own imaginary summer camp. The next finalist goes to D2, The Mighty Ducks. This is the sequel to The Mighty Ducks. And in this one, they wear the jersey that the NHL squad ended up donning. And the last nominee for Family Movie Night 1994 goes to Dumb and Dumber. The winner for Raddest Family Movie Night 1994 goes to Dumb and Dumber. Oh no, it doesn't. I screwed up. It doesn't go to Dumb and Dumber. It goes to The Lion King. Low on facts, high on opinions. Raddest Family Movie Night, Family Movie of 1994 goes to The Lion King. Runner-ups go to The Little Rascals. Third place goes to Rick Moranis and Flintstones and John Goodman and Rosie O'Donnell. Next up, Raddest Drama. First finalist brought to you by Tim Burton. It's Ed Wood for Raddest Drama. Johnny Depp, Martin Landau, Bill Murray, Sarah Jessica Parker, I think Patricia Arquette. One of the best years for dramas, period, 1994. With plenty of Rad Flicks. Next up, written by Stephen King in the short story book, Different Seasons, also including Stand By Me and Apt Pupil in the same book. The movie is The Shawshank Redemption, directed by Frank Darabont, starring Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. For the longest time, my favorite movie of all time. Send you here for life, and that's exactly what they'll take. Get busy living or get busy dying. Hope is a good thing, and no good thing ever dies. Andy Dufresne, Red, Brooks was here, Sewa Taneo, Rita Hayworth. Shawshank Redemption is just one of the greatest movies of all time. When the internet came out, I remember basically rigging the IMDb into making Shawshank Redemption the #1 movie of all time. I was so obsessed with it at the time. Worshipped this movie. I got to see Tim Robbins speaking at a rally in New York back in 2016, and I yelled out, "Thank you for Shawshank." Watch this movie like so many times. Me and my sister for sure watch this movie probably 20 times. Next up, from Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction. I consider this to maybe be the greatest movie ever made. It's got to be in the running for greatest movie ever made. I ranked very high on my Quentin Tarantino list on this channel, at My Friend Joe on YouTube. Don't even know where to start. There's so many incredible performances. I encourage you to check out my other episode on Quentin Tarantino. Bruce Willis, incredible. The Watch, Christopher Walken, the structure of the movie, the way it's shot, every performance. It's a one-off, as good as The Godfather, as good as the greatest movies ever made. It's Pulp Fiction. Next up, directed by Luc Besson, the movie is Leon, the Professional. Jean Reno and Natalie Portman star in this incredible movie. Doesn't leave you. It's haunting. It's just so well made. This is where Natalie Portman, as a kid, really made a major name for herself. One of the greatest childhood performances of all time. Riveting action drama, Leon the Professional. Up next, I got a copy of it here, my wife's copy actually, Legends of the Fall, directed by Edward Zwick, Brad Pitt, Anthony Hopkins. Legends of the Fall. I don't know how many people are just in love with this movie. My name's Forrest Gump. Funny what a young man recollects. Directed by Robert Zemeckis. Forrest Gump, starring Robin Wright, Tom Hanks, slew of others. Robert Zemeckis does it again with the special effects. Feel good story. Thank you, Robert Zemeckis. So many shows on Radflicks so far, including Back to the Future, Death Becomes Her. One of the greatest soundtracks of all time is Forrest Gump. I remember our drama class at our high school, we had a copy of this and wore it out. Just listened to it all year long. Story about this guy, Forrest Gump. I'm hoping to go to Monument Valley in northern Arizona at some time and check that out. Next up for Raddest Drama 1994, we're looking at The Crow, starring Brandon Lee. Alex Proyas directed this one, cult classic. Up next, directed by Robert Redford. This one was also up for Best Picture. It's Quiz Show, starring Rafe Fiennes and John Turturro, two of the best actors out there, based on a true story from the 1950s quiz show scene. I love John Turturro so much, and Rafe Fiennes in this movie is excellent, very easy to watch, and the raddest drama of 1994, according to the panel of normal people, goes to Shawshank Redemption, directed by Frank Darabont, based on a Stephen King book. Stephen King has got raddest in pretty much every category, I think, except for comedy so far. Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, just an incredible story. And in this story, they talk about The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. That's my favorite story of all time, is The Count of Monte Cristo. There's so many things that came from watching this movie. Love this movie. Runner up goes to Pulp Fiction, which in all honesty has moved higher on my list of my favorite movies past Shawshank Redemption. And third place goes to Forrest Gump. And I've got both of those soundtracks right above me here, and they're both just incredible, full of bangers. Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, very important to me as a teenager. I owned both CDs and wore them both out. Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. Get busy living or get busy dying. That's goddamn right. Next up is Most Watched. Most Watched was not filled out properly by a couple of members. That's unfortunate. For Jesse, Most Watched, third place, he has The Mask. Second place, The Shawshank Redemption, and most watched is Pulp Fiction for 1994 for Jesse. These are people on our normal people panel. Next is Bob. Third place, he has Forrest Gump. Second place, Pulp Fiction. First place, most watched for Bob was Ace Ventura Pet Detective in 1994. Next up is Caro. Second place, Forrest Gump. First place, The Shawshank Redemption. Next is Ian. Third place, Pulp Fiction. Second place, The Shawshank Redemption. And first place, Ace Ventura Pet Detective. For myself, third place, Dumb and Dumber. Second place, Pulp Fiction. And first place to Shawshank Redemption. Most watched movies are Ace Ventura, Pulp Fiction. Most watched overall is The Shawshank Redemption, followed by Pulp Fiction and Ace Ventura. I want to throw a couple shout outs to the movie Airheads. It's honorable mention for 1994. Surviving the Game, starring Ice-T, 1994. Maverick, starring Mel Gibson, James Garner, Jodie Foster. That one was super funny, 1994. That'd probably make even family movie night on a lot of lists. Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin was 1994. Crumb, the documentary, another incredible documentary from 1994, based on R. Crumb, comic illustrator. PCU, 1994, Jeremy Piven. Hoop Dreams, 1994. That was a critically acclaimed documentary about the basketball players. That was really good, really long, but also really well made. The Santa Claus, starring Tim Allen, 1994. My God, there's so many movies, 94. Miracle on 34th Street, 1994. John Hughes helped put it together, produced it. Next up, raddest flick of 1994. The finalists are Dumb and Dumber from the Farrelly Brothers, starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Leon the Professional, The Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Quiz Show, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Forrest Gump, and Natural Born Killers. And the winner of Raddest Flick of 1994 is The Shawshank Redemption is the raddest flick of 1994. Runner-ups, Pulp Fiction, and Dumb and Dumber finishes third place from our normal people panel. Raddest movie of 1994 goes to The Shawshank Redemption. It's just common sense. So that's it for Rad Flicks 1994. We're halfway through the 90s. Thank you again to the panel of normal Canadians. I'd like to thank you for commenting, subscribing, putting in your picks below in the comments, checking out the playlist of trailers, finding me on Patreon, link in the description, finding the musicians featured throughout these episodes. Link in the description. At My Friend Joe on YouTube and hashtag Joepinionated all over social media, all that stuff. You'll find me there. And what a year 1994 was. A lot of times it comes down to about 20 finalists. This year it came down to almost 50. Live and let live. Reminder to be normal. Feel free to gank my list as your own. I won't rat you out. Also, happy 30th birthday to Chocolate and Cheese from Ween. Ween's all over the place in all these videos. Be some Ween episodes coming up on my channel as well. And I'm sorry I'm a little low on facts and high on opinions. Respect to the raddest movie of 1994, Radflicks, The Shawshank Redemption. Catch you on the next one.